The CCM Pacific Rim Challenge is a tournament for aspiring junior hockey players. The event will be held from June 29th to July 2nd, 2017 at the Langley Sportsplex. It will bring together experienced hockey coaches and college scouts to evaluate and meet players in a format that maximizes exposure and educate players and their families. The event is organized by Lanz, Dave McLellan, and Holick. Rick brings experience as an NHL defenseman with the Vancouver Canucks and Toronto Maple Leafs, combined with experience as a head coach in the BCHL, winning multiple league championships and a RBC Cup National Championship in 2006, then serving as a scout for the Colorado Avalanche. Dave McLellan is currently the head coach of the PJHL's Port Moody Panthers. He also served as the head coach and GM with the Nelson Leafs of the KIJHL and the Delta IceHawks. Dave also served as the head coach and an assistant coach with the Burnaby Express, winning an RBC Cup as an assistant in 2006. Holick currently serves as the head coach of HC Pusterol in Italy. He has an extensive head coaching resume with the Kootenay Ice and Prince George Cougars of the WHL, plus BCHL head coaching experience with the Surrey Eagles, winning an RBC Cup in 1998, and AHL experience with the Syracuse Crunch. The combined experience of Rick, Dave, and Mark, along with their contacts, can make the CCM Pacific Rim Challenge a valuable event for prospective junior hockey players.
The CCM Pacific Rim Challenge is a combination of a group of people who have been involved in junior hockey for a long time, Rick Lanz, Holick, and myself. It's a camp designed to allow young players to be exposed to junior hockey coaches at all levels, and it gives players an opportunity to compete in a tournament format, which I think is unique in this sort of space. So we're looking forward to a really competitive environment for players to show off their capability of playing junior.
We want to have the type of situation where players are competing in the tournament on a team level. We want that team aspect. Going forward, perhaps after this year, we may implement some different complements to the tournament. But as far as this is concerned, I think that it's going to be run, in a team concept and hopefully a high level of competition.
Well, we think that an assigned coach that's coached junior or college hockey, a group of coaches coaching a team through the whole weekend, is a really unique format. It's going to allow our coaches to evaluate players. They'll leave this camp with an evaluation from their coaches. They're going to have an evaluation from the people watching them. Playing in a tournament that's competitive versus sort of, I hate to use the term, pond hockey games that are typical of these sort of camps. Our games are full-on games with, stop and go with penalties and everything. So it'll simulate a real game, and we're hoping that keeps the competition level up.
From my experience in the Western League, you can't see maybe every player as much as you'd possibly want. Maybe this is an opportunity for guys to get some different looks in a different format. I think that it'd be a good opportunity for kids to come and be exposed, and I think it's a good opportunity for the Western Hockey League scouts to come out and take another peek at guys in that type of competition. It's an interesting format because you show up and you get on a club and you've got to learn quickly, and I think that's a skill set that seems to be coming to the forefront. You hear a lot about interviews when you're watching. If people are watching on television, NHL, the hockey IQ keeps coming up and keeps being mentioned, and certainly you want to be able to skate. Speed is a huge factor in today's game, but you can skate all you want. If you can't think the game, you're not going to be that effective. So, I think that's part of it, and I think it'll be a good thing for the competition.
We have 4 age groups. We have, starting off with Bantam Major, which is this year's Western Hockey League draft pick level. We're hoping to attract some of those players to this camp and get them in the early identification with junior programs, which I think is really important. A lot of times in the old days, we used to wait for players to be 15, 16. But younger players, the more we know about them, the better. And so then the next group is a first-year midget. We've kept this group separate because they are still a little bit on the younger side. And we want to make, again, for early identification for junior hockey, give them some feedback about what it's going to take to play junior hockey. and that kind of thing. And then we're into the core group, which is what we call our major midget group, which is second and third year midgets who are really in that transition from minor hockey to junior hockey. And this is where our scouts and coaches from junior hockey will really be looking at this group. And then the third group is a open junior division for any player that's been playing junior B or carded as an affiliate player who's looking for an opportunity to move up a level, and that all these divisions are equivalent to 4 teams only. So we want to keep the competition and the quality of player to a very high level.
Well, I was fortunate enough to enjoy approximately 10 to 12 year pro career, and some of that was spent with the local Canucks organization. I had an ability to coach at the BCHL level for approximately 13 years, and most recently had a chance for about a 9.5-year tenure with amateur scouting at the NHL level with the Colorado Avalanche. Certainly from a coaching perspective, you're dealing with young athletes that are trying to find their way, using the BCHL as a platform to get recognized as NCAA caliber players. So we had an ability to deal with them and teach them how to play at that level. And also being a scout, there's certain things that come into play. Even though one has played the game and coached, there's certain parameters that come into play that you start to look at the game or the player slightly differently in terms of areas that are important for the player to make the jump, to pro hockey. There's knowledgeable people that are going to be at this event, that help players at every level, and I think that my most recent experience, again, with the scouting at the pro level, we are hoping to have people that represent the National Hockey League there through the connections that I have or have had over the last 9 years. Also, NCAA individuals that we know at present, and certainly ones that we've known as when we were coaching in the BC Hockey League, that will also be present, and we can always get some valuable feedback from them. Pretty much whatever it is the player is looking for in terms of information, we ourselves, Mark, myself, and Dave, will be able to provide.
We're hoping we can get representatives from as many teams as possible. I mean, for sure locally, we'd like to get some guys here from the Giants and maybe all the BC division clubs. You got Seattle close, you've got Everett close, Portland just a few hours down the highway. So, we'd like to get as many as we possibly can. And the Western Hockey League scouts from out east in the other conference have guys in the Lower Mainland, and they're BC guys too. So we'd hope to get as much representation as possible, if not all 22 teams.
It touches on almost all levels of information that one is looking for, it starts with the broad band of knowledge that goes with Mark, Holick, myself, and Dave McLellan. I mean, we've pretty much done everything there is to do, and combine that with this tournament. Give these players an ability to access some knowledge and the type of information is required for them to become better players and to move into levels of hockey that they're trying to reach.
Well, I mean, there's many routes. Obviously, we all know that there's different routes to get where you need to go, but I would probably just speak to my strengths. If they had questions about the Western Hockey League, I've been in Europe for a year now, so anything regarding that direction. But certainly, my ears are wide open for anything that people may have as far as questions are concerned moving forward.
Well, we're always open to communication. I think that's a valuable part, in participating in something like this. We are there as sounding boards for for families, for players, to get the type of information they're after. But to supplement that, we're going to have seminars where people get further information from other individuals that are experts in those fields at the present time.
We're really excited about the presentation format for this camp. Our goal here is to, we're going to refine it, but I know we're going to talk about the pathway to junior hockey. We have a great presentation already done on that. It talks about the mathematical odds of playing junior hockey, what it takes. We're going to be talking about leadership skills that are required as well. We're going to talk about what scouts are looking for. With Rick Lanz heading that sort of phase with some of his friends from the National Hockey League, their scouts, to really let parents and players know what scouts are really looking for versus what they kind of think they're looking for. I think that's going to be a really valuable tool for players, and we're going to keep adding to that list of seminars. We want this to have a lot of education in it. We'll be handing out, there'll be handouts and specific stuff about the transition from minor hockey to junior and beyond. We'll be certainly trying to talk to all kinds of issues, including the evaluation of each player, which is going to be a big thing. We're going to be looking at a player, they're going to receive that. So lots of data for them. We're going to be testing players that make it to the sort of all-star practice environment as well. So they're going to get some data as well. So all this kind of stuff is really to help build their player profile and move on into junior hockey.
It's a very critical process, at the Bantam age. Once players pass through that portal, is to have the ability to choose your path, without getting into situations where some of those doors are closed. And there is information out there that we feel is critical, and we are very knowledgeable on. To be able to make a presentation where it's going to definitely benefit the player and the parents.
I think that if people are willing to listen, they'll be able to figure out why the importance of the differences between, say, the Tier 2 Junior A option, the Western Hockey League option. We've got enough people here to really help people really understand how all that works. We're generally getting excitement. I just spoke last night to a couple of colleagues of mine who are coaching local junior B here, and they're really excited to see if we get good quality players. We want to make sure we're presenting good players that can jump in and play at that level and move on. So, and I think in general, I know that the feedback I'm getting from people who are contacting us they're excited about the event, and we're excited about it. I think it's a great opportunity for players to work with people with such a long commitment to the game and have been able to coach at a high level and work with elite athletes.
It's $499 to register for the tournament. It runs for 3 days. It starts in June 29th, and again, each player will have a practice as well as the games that are included in the time frame. So I think the amount of information, the amount of seminars, and the ice time bodes well for a well-priced type of scenario.
For more information, go to ccmpacificrimchallenge.ca.